I would like to call on the dais Mr. Fahim, Director GovConnect ilouge Media Private Limited, for his welcome address. Also requesting all the wonderful dignitaries that we just had the inauguration of the lamp to please join us on the stage. Shri Abhijeet, Sinha, Mr. Vivek, Meena, please join us on the stage, sir. Shri Golok, Kumar, Simli, Shri Piyush, Gupta ji, and Shri Piyush, Mishra ji, please join us on the stage, sir. Now I would request Mr. Fahim, Director GovConnect, to please address and welcome everybody. Thank you.
A very pleasant and good morning to everyone. Our delegates, dignitaries on the dais. So, thank you each and every one of you for being here with us today at ilouge Media and GovConnect, embarking on a new chapter with PSU Digital Transformation Conclave. PSUs are leading the charge in digital transformation to enhance the competitiveness and operational efficiency. Nevertheless, concerns persist among the seriousness of PSU's operational efficiency. Nevertheless, concerns persist about the seriousness of the PSUs regarding the environmental, social, and governance (ESG) issues. To address these critical concerns and foster a dialogue between key stakeholders, we made an effort to create a platform for leaders from the public and private sectors, policymakers, industry experts, and academicians to come together and deliberate on the challenges, opportunities, and the best practices for transforming the PSUs in the Indian context. Further, I believe that we all decided to gather here due to a mutual passion to know more, share more, and learn more about the reimagining PSUs in the modern era. Identifying the need for transformation and exploring the potential of PSU in a rapidly changing business landscape. Well, I don't want to take much of your time. Today will be fun and full of learning. With this note, I thank each and every one of you for being here with us today. Last but not the least, I would like to extend my deep appreciation to our partners who believed in us. Thank you.
Start the knowledge begin. You know, Mr. Abhijeet Sinha, National Program Director, NHEV. So I welcome you on the...
For setting up the text. Very warm welcome and greetings to esteemed panelists, heavyweight speakers who are with me. I'm going to do a lot of knowledge transactions with you, and very good morning to all of you for being patient and very warm listeners. I'm not National Program Director of National Highway. I'm National Program Director of Ease of Doing Business. National Highway EV is one of the pilot which is taken care by me in an additional charge as project director. A lot of such things happen. We would talk today about it. But before we enter into it, you have set a very good context in the morning that how this transformation of PSU and how this beginning has started. So I would also like to add on a couple of things to it, that where we started and where we have reached. It is important for us, a lot of debate which we see on TV, that people come and they try to change the history of the nation. They try to debate something, where they say, no, things did not happen this way, things happened other way. We have been fed wrong history. In the economy also has an history. So when we started in 1947 as a country, free country, we were an agricultural economy. And we continued to be an agricultural economy till 1960. From 1960, if you will see, we started becoming a manufacturing-based economy. Then the technology, manufacturing plants and other things, they started coming. This manufacturing-based economy and agricultural economy, both, they contributed us to see and look at it that how we could be a technology-based economy. So 1960 to 1985, you will see how it was becoming a manufacturing plus and tech economy. And 1985 to 2000 or 2005, 10 you can say, it completely focused on the technology. So all those technical achievement, right from bringing computer and opening India for a global market, it happened between 1985 to 2000. Now 2000 to 2022, it's also 20-year long economy. We turned out to be a very different type of economy which has different definition, that is called circular economy. This circular economy journey is not yet completed. It would not be justice with the definition of circular economy if I say that we have become circular economy. We yet to become circular economy. But in 2014, things changes. Prime Minister Modi comes in power. He gives a different direction to how economy has to go. And what is that direction? We all must know that what is that direction. That direction is simple. It's not a political direction. It's not a party line direction. It's a clear direction that what you could not achieve into last 75 years, let's achieve into next 25 years. And this gives a clarity of what Amrit Kal is. So before we become an 100-year-old country and we say that, okay, we missed this bus of digital transformation, digitalization of data or digitalization of assets or infrastructure, and we say, okay, we missed it, it's 100 years now, what we can do? That last 25 years being given to us in Amrit Kal is started with Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav at 75th anniversary of our country. So that's the direction where we all are moving. I come back to the context of today's seminar is PSUs transformation, reimagining how we have to do it, how we have to work it. Then one very important thing we all need to understand is what is expected from PSU and what is it that they have given till date. Only expectation never serves the purpose. If you will see the mantra of ease of doing business, the mantra of how Prime Minister look at it that economy should transform, it is not only transformation, it is reform, then perform, then transform. So most of the time when we have aspirations, when we have expectations, we only talk about the reforms that, okay, these are the problem areas. It might be, compliances, it might be burden of licensing Raj, and we expect transformation. We forget a mid word, that is perform. We have to come together and perform, but perform what? That performance is already being done on the context of doing large muscle power, large transactional operations by PSUs. So what do we expect from that? It's something which I would like to bring in all of you's notice. See, if you look at things which did not happen into last 75 years, you will look at it that a lot of infrastructure project, power related project, energy related projects were stalled before 2014 due to several reasons. The reason on the prima facie may look like it happened just because somebody went and did an PIL on a hydel power project, on a nuclear power project, on something which is very important for the national asset. It can serve the purpose of your energy transition, your energy dependency or transport. So बहुत सारे flyover, बड़े plants, बड़े projects start हुए, वो कभी पूरे नहीं हुए. After 2014, when new government started investigating that how and why these all work, and many of them, they belong to PSUs. They did not completed these large transaction projects in time. You will be surprised to know what came as a result. Most of them, they were stalled deliberately by international countries, by European countries through some funded NGOs who just go, take some money, file and PIL. That few people, climate interest, this interest, that interest. Our vision, our national vision is to remain intact with the climate. This is very clear. All of you are listening every day, decarbonization and things and regarding climate. It is not absolutely going ahead and doing something which does not work with the climate of the people. But it was mapped and pictured as, okay, government is going and doing some wrong thing to somebody, let's put an PIL. And when it's investigated, I'm saying on the record that many of the NGOs who have found funded from foreign agencies, they were not doing education, they were not doing food, they were not doing any type of good work, they were just hiring very, very expensive lawyers and filing PI. To stop what? To stop development of the nation. And who was doing it? It also came out. So if you will look at it, that why and where, what, this is the history. Now it is not happening. Most of the foreign transactions, and they are very tightly scrutinized today. It is very difficult to bring any dirty money in the country. Now what do we learn from this? When we have a precedence and clear intent of countries who were involved into it through a shadow or proxy entries in these through NGOs, same countries has a lot of consulting organizations, a lot of very good consulting, very fancy, beautiful consulting organization. And what do they do? Today, ease of doing business wing, which I handle, is only having one target, one task, is to serve to this digital transformation. You talk about drone, you talk about electric mobility, you talk about 3D printing, geospatial, cloud, data, anything which is emerging technology, which does not have a rule book. This is what we do as a pilot project. We only do it for Government of India, we only give it to Government of India. Once it is provided, once it is completed, we actually get an understanding of how this pilot has to run and how the model RFP for other states should work. Maybe a drone or maybe a 3D printing, which many states might be interested to work and do, but they don't get it because they don't know how to do the procurement. If they will enter into a long cycle of procurement, it will take 2-3 years. And trust me, for a new technology, it's absolutely the intent that matters. You may do it into 6 months, you can run the file from table to table for next 6 years. And nothing will happen, nothing will come on the board. We do it just for the purpose of the 3 things should be clear. 1, how do we finance this new technology? Second, how do we do procurement and the paperwork for that? How do we set the rule book, standard, certification, their licensing, regulations? Third, how are we going to react to it as a user, as a consumer, as people, beneficiaries? How are we going to react to it? What is the commercial equivalence? Without that technology and with that technology, what difference it brings? These 3 things make that particular technology scalable, very easily in transition adoptable by pan-India. And this work, when we try to conduct it, most of the time when we see our challenges, then I see a very important role of PSUs coming in. अगर कोई नई टेक्नोलॉजी खरीदनी है एंड गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर को खरीदनी है, तो उसके पास 2 ही ऑप्शन होते हैं. या तो वो उनकी डिटेल में खुद जाएं, खुद से पढ़ें. Somebody from aviation may not have an intelligence about the food processing. Food processing may not have an intelligence about steel or mine. Or else they appoint a consultant. Am I right? All of you in this room who are talking about PSU imagination agree with me that all of them, they appoint a consultant. Who is this consultant? आपके यहाँ प्रतिभा की, इंटेंट की कमी नहीं है. आपके IIT से, IIM से पढ़ के बच्चे बाहर जा रहे हैं, जो इन्हीं कंसल्टिंग कंपनीज में फिर वापस आते हैं काम करने के लिए. Once we have learned the lesson from history that majority of our infrastructure and economic importance projects are stalled by these countries by sending shadow organization and NGOs with the hat of philanthropy, we are again realizing, we are again trusting them with sending consulting companies. And what these consulting companies do? They bring data, they bring analytics, they bring intelligence, they bring insights. They mesmerize you with what they have done into different part of world, and what not you can understand, something you may not verify also. The role which I see from our PSUs today is to replace them, is to give an insight to the Government of India, to the Indian industry and Indian economy, that we do not need a fancy foreign consultant. We know how to run our country, and we understand how to do procurement, how to do financing, how to do adoption, how to make our rule books for new technologies. This intelligence comes from a data-driven process. It comes from an evidence-based policy framework of what you try, what we collect from ground. There is no hanky-panky, there is no possibility of assumptions in this type of making. So my request, my wish list to all of you, and I'm glad that I'm being part of this Transformation Summit. This session and the session coming next to it is bringing lot of transparency, lot of precision, and accountability in all part of sector. And all of you who are there in hall will agree with me that data is something which is bringing your interest and your vision to the globe, to the table. If you are using Uber, you are using an e-commerce site, you are using Ola, anything, whatever you are using, it is a mobility service, it's a logistic service. You have a lot of, even if you are booking tickets to airlines. Day before yesterday, I heard that Ministry of Civil Aviation has called for a meeting of around 10,000 complaints which we received over last few years about problems with ticket. Somebody charged extra, somebody did not got refund, some. We do not regulate directly ticket pricing of airlines, but this does not mean that anybody can take ride on it. Same is with your transportation. बहुत सारे लोग मोबाइल ऑर्डर करते हैं, उनको उधर से ईंट पत्थर आ जाते हैं. Now it is at your peril that where you go, what type of complaint you put. बहुत सारे मोबाइल इस कंट्री में मिलते हैं जिसका सर्विस सेंटर ही नहीं है यहाँ पे. So are we creating in circular economy that if it does not work, I have to throw this in the dustbin? There should be a refurbish, reuse, then recycle. This is how circular economy have to work. To do this, we need to have data from consumer inside, from users inside, from industry inside, and this all are to be used as an evidence-based policy making for PSUs. And I'm glad that this conversation has started. We will be able to do a lot of transformation into next 5 years, and this next 5 years are very crucial because this next 5 years is not the reform, it's not the perform, it's the 5 year of transformation. And I believe that all of you who have joined with this intent to create a right content for this transformation would bring it to the maximum extent which we can achieve. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Now, moving on, we have Mr. Vivek Meena ji, who's the Deputy Director, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. Sir, please, I welcome you to join us on the stage and have you welcomed up. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So before me, sir has given a very nice history of how the economy of our country started, and PSU was right at the center of that transformation of the country. Just want to highlight what transition has happened since the LPG reforms in 1992. So before that, PSUs played a pivotal role in the economy of the country, right from the essential items to the discretionary items of the economy were being handled through the PSU productions. And in 1990, we decided that we should open up the economy to let the market also get involved in this production of these different items in the economy. And so the monopoly of the PSU, as we used to have earlier, was dismantled, and there was competition in the market. And this competition in the market is leading to a lot of analysis as to how you can attract customers, how you can improve the efficiencies and effectiveness in the market. And a very important aspect of this, as sir has already mentioned, is the data. So now we are, even in the government, we are moving from the system being working fine as a definition of good governance to being proactive in judging as to what is required by the customer and trying to deliver it in a timely manner. So from Ministry of Corporate Affairs, what we are doing in our MCA 21 portal is that we are using the data as an insight to decide as to how we can further improve the compliances, how we can further improve the ease of doing business. Let me just give you a brief overview of MCA 21 portal that is currently being used for filing of the corporate compliances in India. So MCA 21 portal is used for filing of Companies Act 2013 requirements, regulations, and the limited liability partnership for the LLPs in India. These are the two major corporate entities that are involved in the functioning of the market currently in India. And they are playing a pivotal role in increasing the competition in the market, which the PSUs are currently facing. So when we started in 2006, initially, our motto was that we should digitize first the filing system of the corporate affairs, and so the intent was to digitize the record of the filing document, as well as to digitize the process of filing itself. Then when we moved on to the next version, which was handled by Infosys. The earlier one was handled by TCS. In the next version, we wanted to leverage the technology to improve the transactional flow of the filing. We did not use the data, we just wanted to further improve what was already happening. So this was like a government with the intent of the system being working fine. That is the definition of a good governance back then. And we did a number of things during that time to improve the filing experience of the stakeholders. We made a number of forms as STP forms, which is the officers not needing to approve or reject the form. As soon as the stakeholder has filed it, we accepted it. So that was one of the ways that we improved the ease of doing business in India. Then we did a lot of data cleaning, a lot of KYC exercises we did. We struck off a lot of companies. So if you would have heard in 2017-18, we did a number of drive to remove all the shell companies in India. And during that drive, we removed around 2.23 lakh companies in a year only. So a massive exercise was done back then to clean up the data. And this cleaning up of the data was in the background of creation of a new portal wherein we actually leverage the data that is already there in the system to do the analytics on it, use the AI/ML tools so that we can have the insights on the behavior of the corporates, whether we can do an early warning detection, fraud detection system on them. We do a risk profiling on them so that before the fraud has happened, we are able to get some idea as to what is the issue being faced by a corporate and identify it before it actually blows up in the economy. With this intent in mind, we did a lot of MOUs with different regulators like CBDT, CBIC, SEBI. So the data was at the center of it, and the overall intent of the government now became that we should be proactive in governance of the corporate sector. So this proactiveness means that we will trigger the emails to directors before the KYC deadline has happened. We would trigger emails to the corporate after the default has happened so that they can comply immediately. We create an e-adjudication platform whereas the system is end-to-end digital so that the stakeholder do not have to go to the registrar of companies for adjudication of a proceeding. So this was done in the background of a COVID-19 issue wherein a lot of directors and their representatives face difficulties in coming to the offices for this adjudication proceeding. So these are some of the examples of how the government is actually moving towards proactive governance, wherein we actually judge what is the requirement of the users and we try to give them the ease of at least the filing part of it. So whoever wants to file, we will make it much easier for them to file. And at the same time, we leverage the data to identify where are the frauds happening, where are the frauds emerging out of, and whether we can detect it early and can remove it at the same time. So the data is used now in a compliance management system in MCA 21. In this compliance management system, we not only do the early warning detection of frauds, we also do a risk profiling of individuals as well as the KMPs of the directors and the company secretaries, the auditors involved in it. And through that we get an insight, and every feedback, every alert that is being generated by the system, we have a feedback mechanism to check whether it is relevant or not. At the same time, in the light of being proactive in doing assisting the users in filing and helping the economy, we are also a pivotal partner in the ease of doing business system in India. So starting a business ranking, MCA plays a very important role in that index. Although World Bank is now coming out with a new index to rank countries based on how easy it is for the corporates to do the filings and enter India. But right from the incorporation to the name reservation to the regulation of the corporates, all of the things are being handled by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So we've done a number of innovation, looking at what are the requirements of the stakeholders. So currently we have one single integrated form, which is called a Spice Plus form. In the single form, you get 13 different services for a corporate. And let's say you file a document on Monday. On Wednesday, you can start your company without having to go to any other regulators. So this single form will give you incorporation of the company. It will give you the name reservation. It will give you the PAN, the TAN number, it will give you EPFO, ESIC number, it will also give registrations for profession tax in Maharashtra, Karnataka, West Bengal, and it will also register you for shop and establishment in National Capital Territory of Delhi. Aside from this, because corporate require a bank account for operationalization, we have also integrated with major 10 Indian banks, including the major PSU banks, so that at the onset itself, the corporate gets a bank account at the time of inception. So let's say you filed on Monday and the documents are complete. On Wednesday, you can start the functions without any interference from the government side. So these are, some of the functions that we've seen actually improve the functioning of the market in India, and the ways in we've been proactive in trying to understand what are the requirements of the customer. And we are using this data for also policy making insight, as Sarah earlier mentioned. We are using these incorporation trends to see which are the sectors of the economy that require some assistance. We are looking at the delays in the filing to see whether we can extend the date of filing for these corporates. So data is playing a very crucial role in Ministry of Corporate Affairs decision making, and we hope that going forward, the more integration that we do, we will further improve on this assessment, this decision making in policy, as well as intervention in the market to assist our stakeholders, that is the businesses in India, so that the economy can grow further. One more project I want to touch upon here is the Single Source of Truth project that Ministry of Corporate Affairs initiated with the intent of integration of the corporate regulators in India. So currently, as we know, if you are a corporate, you have to do a filing, annual filing in Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Then you will have to do a separate filing in Income Tax Office. Another set of filing will be required possibly in GST system also. So we started this study with the intent of interlinking of the database, so that a corporate, when he is filed once in one regulator, he need not file the same information in other regulators. So this study was done through our consultant. As Sarah mentioned, the consultant that we hired from outside, unfortunately that is the truth right now. So we had done this study with 6 corporate regulators in mind, MCA being the first one, then CBDT, GSTN, RBI, SEBI, and CERSAI. So an extensive round of discussions took place with all these regulators, and we've come out with a draft report that we have shared with all these regulators. This is a very long-term project, and we will need to have these incremental changes in place for us to execute it slowly in the government system, because there is a lot of inertia, a lot of resistance in making these databases being available and interlinked with different regulators. So from MCA's end, what we've done is we've actually done memorandum of understandings with different regulators. We've also tried to create some APIs that government regulators can access, which will assist them in validation of basic data. Then we've also integrated with different regulators to get some input on our end while the stakeholders are filing. So all these things, integrated towards our study of single source of truth. Then that study was further taken up as an interlinking of database study in FSDC, which is the Financial Stability and Development Council. A subcommittee was set up for creation of a draft report, which was then finalized based on inputs from RBI, MCA, SEBI, and it was put up in FSDC for further discussions and implementation. So these were the few things that I wanted to touch upon with the basic idea that now we are moving towards more and more competition, not only for the PSUs but also for the government. There are more and more pressure coming in from the citizens of this country demanding services in a much more efficient and effective manner. So the government is also understanding that we will have to evolve with time to provide these services in a much more convenient manner to the stakeholders. So right from the COVID-19 testing, if you had said the Arogya Setu app and these different services with the QR code being the verifiable document, all these services are just with that intent that we become more proactive. We assist the user in doing their normal day-to-day work, and the government comes at the background through using the technology, and the technology being at the forefront, we actually try to help all the users. So maybe the PSUs can also use the data and the insights that the data gives to further improve their processes, the effectiveness and the efficiency in their system, so that they can be much more effective, much more efficient, with much more profitability as well compared to the market participants. Thank you so much.
Would like to welcome next Mr. Golok Kumar Simli, who is the Principal Advisor and CTO of Passport Seva Program, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Huge round of applause for Mr. Golok.
Very good morning to all of you. Let me at the outset thanks ilouge Media, the partners, for having me here. I think our predecessor and also definitely my colleague on the dais. We listened two of our predecessors, Abhijeet very well explained about how that public sector has evolved over time. Our colleague from corporate affairs told about where all government is trying to kind of get that essence of that I call integration, collaborations, and then deliver, right? I'll try to focus a little more when we talk about what exactly is transformation all about, because today's event is mostly we are focusing on the transformation of public sectors at large. And since I drive one of the largest transformation across the globe, which is the passport transformation journey. Now, if you ask me, we as a government, we as a public sector, where do you focus when we look for transformations, when we look for empowering people, when you try make inclusives of those sections of society or masses, probably which otherwise they are not having that benefits or that kind of impact. Now, the first and foremost factor is already, I think, Vivek said that the demand, the numbers, right? How can you convert that numbers into a business model? How can you convert that numbers into a quality, into a assurance, into a sustainability, right? And when I say numbers, that numbers everywhere. If I am dealing with passport, there is a number, right? If I am dealing with some, let's say, financial services, there is a number. If I am dealing with some health services, there is a number. But can I convert that number, into a service quality, service assurance, sustainability, empowering people? And believe me, I have done that, right? In fact, when we started this passport journey somewhere in 2010, vis-a-vis where we stand today, that numbers is multiplied by almost fourfold, right? We are issuing somewhere around 50 lakh passport in a year, somewhere in 2010. Today I am issuing more than 1.5 crore people every year, and daily almost a lakh people, right? And that number, how do you empower people, in terms of, let's say, example, quote the passport itself. So today, passport, if you all ask me, it's not merely a travel document. It empowers you globally in terms of financial enablement, in terms of doing ease of business, someone told you, right? So it's not merely a document, right? And when you are empowering that numbers to masses at large, that's the concept of transformation. How do you transform? Wherever they are, wherever masses are, whether they are residing at a remote corner of a village, or I am from Delhi, or you are from someone from Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad. But think of those masses, those section of the society who are actually at the remote corner of a village of UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, MP, and so forth. How do you reach them? How do you connect them? How do you deliver them, right? And if you want to connect them, communicate them, deliver them, the way they understand you, it's not the other way. The problem we do in this large transformation is, You deploy some process, some technology, some consultant, something or other, and then you feel that the masses will understand, the masses will accept what you are trying to convey them. No, it must not be. It should not be. It must be the way they speak to you. It must be the way they want to connect with you. So we must understand their problem, not your problem you are trying to address them, right? And that is what we did. We turned around 180 degree, in fact. What was passport before and what was passport today, or why passport only? Any of these large transformations, whether it is Aadhaar, passport, GSTN, corporate affairs, no, income tax, I can quote plethora of such examples, right? And the good part is we have seen this transformation when these transformations were kind of a conceptualized as part of national e-governance journey somewhere during 2004-5. And vis-a-vis, like Abhijeet ji said, after 2014, the kind of push we have on these transformation, the kind of impact they are doing, let me quote one example. If I just take the DBT scheme, everybody you know DBT scheme, right? And the DBT scheme alone, we can save the leakage or the leakage of around more than 2 lakh crore. Just assume one scheme if you can save 2 lakh crore rupees. Think of many such schemes, many such filtrages. And in any sector, why only this DBT? Whether it is a health sector, agriculture sector, power sector, passport, income tax, GST, whatever I talk about. So that is the first prime thing is how do you address the demand? And when you are addressing the demand, another, everywhere I say that must be dealt in a democratization way. The digital must be speaking a truth of digital democratization. And what does it mean? When I say digital democratization means wherever you are, right, 24/7, whichever language you speak, I must not differentiate in terms of literacy, illiteracy, geography, right, economic conditions. Then I am following the principle of digital democratization, right? And if you have done that, I think that is what is called transformation. That is what is called change, right? Let me quote another example. Today, right, in both sides, one side, my workforce within the organization, and other side, citizens. If I ask both the side, right, it's not me telling, no, it's either my employees will tell or my workforce will tell, and the other side, the citizen itself will tell. That transformation story you must not tell. It is the story to be told by the beneficiary. It is the story to be told by the impact who are getting that impact, that benefit, right? The second very fact of the transformation journey is the delivery. One is the demand, the second is the delivery. How do you deliver? Deliver in terms of scale, because government we have no segment, right? The biggest problem is the government is, it's 1.4 billion of people. For me, there is no segment. For me, there is no category per se, right? For us, it is 1.4 billion of people. So when you are delivering, can you deliver at a scale, right? And when you deliver at a scale, these kind of problems like COVID is one of the example. Are you somewhere stuck up? And that is why we talk about whether it is cloud, whether it is other emerging technologies, 5G, cloud. All these will help us to deal with some kind of uncertainties in terms of reaching to the masses, in terms of dealing with the people, in terms of scale, in terms of speed, in terms of security, and in terms of sustainability. That I call them 4S: speed, scale, security, and sustainability. So when you are looking for a transformation, ensure that these 4S are met. And the last point I must address, today, when I am trying to achieve something or I am trying to create some impact or I am trying to, let's say, collaborate, communicate, engage with industry, create a new innovations, business model. I think the prime is the data, right? It's all about data. It's all about that numbers, right? And if you have to understand that data in terms of all those 5 V's, right? In terms of volume, value, variety, veracity, no variability. Do we really understand that number? Do we really understand that data sets we have, right? And if you do not understand that data set, how do you leverage the potential of that data? How do you leverage the potential of that number? How do you protect that number? How do you protect that data? Whether it is a PII data, whether it is a unstructured data, it's immaterial. And especially after the enablement of the DPDP Act, I think these all transformation journeys will give us a different kind of a relook and realignment, if you ask me, right? And if you are not able to relook, realign yourself in terms of processes, in terms of policies, in terms of tools and technologies, and do not forget the rules of engagement. That is the law of the land, right? And if you look the transformation journey holistic in a nature, the way I spoke, the way I think this is very much possible, this is very much doable. And even for the public sector and government at large, I think 2 more factors are very important today for the existence of the self and for the existence of the organization at large. If you want to exist yourself, if you want to exist your organization at large, I think there is no other way than adding into the value chain, adding into the the bigger aspect of the digital economy or the overall economy. So that's how I end it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, now I would like to call on the dais Mr. Piyush Gupta, who's the business head, government and global Yotta Data Services. Thank you so much, sir, to please join us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for arranging this extremely honored August panel, honorable guests. My moment of pride and pleasure to be here. And a very warm good morning to all of you and greetings from Yotta. Yotta is a data center and cloud company about which I will talk later. We have seen through the morning, everybody has emphasized on the importance of data, and it is established beyond debate that data is the new oil, and everything around transformation will have data as the cornerstone, as the epicenter of all the transformation which has to happen, which has happened so far and which will happen in progress. Now, PSUs have been at the cornerstone, at the foundation of the Indian economy since the day we got independence. And I will like to word PSU as a different word. Today it is very nice and fashionable to talk about population scale solutions, population scale delivery. But PSU itself, the word is saying population scale utilities. So PSUs have always been incorporated and been serving the population with a service mindset, with profitability, with sustainability, all rolled in one right from day one. So my heartiest compliments to all of you for doing this, and it is on the backdrop of this that this nation stands today, and what we are going to do now is that the foundation which the PSU has set over the 70-75 years, and now is the time, as the sir said about Amrit Kal, to take the next leap forward, about which I will walk you through some data points in this conclave. Now these conclaves are very important to me, because this gives us an opportunity to pause, think, rewind, rejuvenate, reconnect with peers, and plan for the long term. So this is an opportunity to meet old friends, make new friends, and perform further. Now India is at a point where digital transformation will be at the cornerstone and will continue to drive this economy hereafter. Now today we are the 5th largest economy in the world, and I was delighted to read through the Economic Times day before yesterday, and I will give the article to the organizers, they will give it to each one of you in case you missed. So we are poised to be the 3rd largest economy in the world by the year 2030. We will overtake Germany by 2026, Japan by 2027, and we will be a 6 trillion economy by 2028 and a 7.1 trillion economy by 2030. And of this, the rough estimates are 20% will come out of Digital India type of initiative, privately, publicly put together. But my personal guess is it will be much higher. And all of us jointly come here to kind of make this dream a reality, engage amongst ourselves, get to know each other better. And while we compete on one hand, but collaboration is the key. Because no one company, no one system, no one government can do it for 1.4 billion on its own. So it has to be a joint effort, collaborative effort to the citizens, to the 1.4 billion population. And while in individual capacities, we continue to perform our duties and compete in the open marketplace, and which is a very right thing to do. Now, Indian economy broadly consisted of three segments, as Sir said about agriculture, then came industrialization, and later came services. Now, if you look at digital, it is at the underlying pin of all the three together. So this is the way to go, that digital will be the next thing of this 7.1 trillion economy. Digital will contribute at least 20%.
प्रावधान हो तो प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट ही नहीं होगी। और हमें बेसिकली काम किस पे करना चाहिए, सिंगल बॉडी सिस्टम पे, मतलब एक बेसिक सेल है या टिश्यू है उसकी ही लेवल पे वो चीज़ रिजॉल्व हो जाए तो वो चीज़ बड़ा रूप ले ही नहीं पाएगी। और साथ में कहना चाहूँगा मैं कि यार काफ़ी समय तक 10 सालों तक जब हम लोग इस चीज़ पे छोटे छोटे इनिशिएटिव करते रहे और मैंने देखा कि यार उनको एक प्रॉपर तरीके से बहुत सारे एफर्ट चल रहे हैं लेकिन इनका इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट नहीं हो रहा है, तो हम लोगों ने कुछ टाइम पहले ही एक नेट जीरो इंडिया का निर्माण किया जो हमारा प्लानेट सिक हो रहा है। मैं मानता हूँ जैसा कि मैं मानता हूँ और मैं जो मान रहा हूँ वो जरूरी नहीं सही हो, लेकिन ये हम सब लोग फील कर रहे होंगे जिस तरीके के हम क्लाइमेट डिजास्टर इस समय अराउंड द वर्ल्ड देख रहे हैं। ठीक है, बिन मौसम बरसात हो रही है, आपके रेगिस्तान में बर्फ गिर रही है। ठीक है, तो कहीं तूफान आ रहे हैं और कहीं कुछ भी हो रहा है, मतलब मैं देख रहा हूँ। आप देखिए हमने कितना डेवलपमेंट किया पहाड़ों पे जाके कि अब लैंडस्लाइड्स के रोज घटनाएं हो रही हैं। हमें ये देख के चलना कि भाई प्रॉपर तरीके से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट विकास हो, विनाश नहीं क्रिएट करना है। आप विकास करिए, विनाश की तरफ मत लेके जाइए। और हमारे ना तो पावर्स का और ना पैसे का कोई मतलब नहीं है अगर हमारे बच्चे नहीं रह पाए यहाँ पे। माननीय मंत्री जी बड़ा अच्छा शब्द बोलते हैं, मेरे को उनका सबसे फेवरेट लाइन लगती है, 3 चीज़ें दिमाग में रखो हमेशा, देश, भविष्य और बच्चे। आप इन तीनों चीज़ों को अगर ध्यान में रखेंगे तो आपके एक्शंस हमेशा प्रॉपर तरीके से डिफाइंड होंगे। और एट द एंड ऑफ द डे एंड ऑफ द स्पीच मैं एक बात कहना चाहूँगा, नो एक्शन इज नॉट एन ऑप्शन। क्लाइमेट चेंज इज रियली गोइंग टू हैपन एंड इट्स गोइंग टू बी हर्ट अस सीवियरली। और वो शायद हो सकता है हम लोगों के ऊपर ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट ना पड़े, लेकिन आप सोचिए हमारे बच्चों के ऊपर कितना ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ने वाला है। आज दिल्ली की सिचुएशन बताता हूँ मैं, यहाँ पे 33% बच्चों के लंग इन्फेक्शन हो रखा है उनको। ये मैंने मतलब मेरा डाटा नहीं है, मैंने तो बस अखबार में पढ़ा, तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि भाई 33%। तो फ़ायदा क्या हमारे पैसे कमाने का अगर हमारे बच्चे ही मतलब बीमार होते जा रहे हैं। ये हमारे विकास का। मेरा 7 साल का बच्चा है, मैं 3 महीने 2 महीने में एक बार मिल पाता हूँ उससे। रीज़न, मैं इस पॉल्यूशन में अपने बच्चे को नहीं रखना चाहता एटलीस्ट। और मुझे खैर मजबूरी में हो सकता है मुझे विकास करना है या मेरी कोई मजबूरी है तो मैं तो यहाँ रह रहा हूँ, लेकिन मेरे बच्चे ने क्या गलती की हुई है भाई जो आके यहाँ भट्टी के बीच में रहे। लेकिन हम सब अपने बच्चों के साथ यही कर रहे हैं। शायद मेरे पास ऑप्शंस है तो मैंने अपने बच्चों को गांव में रखा हुआ है, और आप सब लोग भी ये ऑप्शंस क्रिएट करेंगे तो एक प्रकार से देखा जाए दिक्कत ही होगी। मतलब सबको, सब लोग तो नहीं कर सकते ये चीज़, लेकिन बच्चे हमारे सफ़र कर रहे हैं, ये बात बिल्कुल क्लियर कट है देखा जाए तो कुछ नहीं, हमें देश के लिए, बच्चों के भविष्य के लिए, इन सब के लिए कार्य करें और थोड़ा अपने एक्शंस को सुधारने का प्रयास करें। और जिसमें मैं समझता हूँ शायद PSU का बहुत बड़ा रोल हो सकता है, क्योंकि आप तो ना इंडस्ट्री के लीडर ही आप ही हैं, पहले भी थे, आज भी हैं, आगे भी रहेंगे, क्योंकि स्केल आपसे ज़्यादा कोई ज़्यादा मैटर नहीं करती किसी के पास में। इसी के साथ मैं फ़हीम जी को फिर से धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा मुझे इतना अच्छा मंच देने के लिए, और आई एम रियली हैप्पी टू कम हियर। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you so much. I would now request Shri Fahim Ji, Director GovConnect ilouge Media Private Limited, to felicitate all the wonderful speakers. Thank you for this wonderful inaugural session.